What's going on, bottom line viewers and NFL bettors? It's Mitch back here with another week of NFL best bets. This time for week number 15 of the 2022 NFL season. 1 week closer to the playoffs. You gotta love it. We have football this week on Thursday, on Saturday, on Sunday. It's a great week to be betting on the NFL, and I'm gonna help you do that with bets on each and every night. Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. Last week we went 4-2. This week, looking for more success. Don't forget to spike the like button and subscribe to the channel for more BLV NFL best bets every week here on the channel, the Bottom Line View. Get in the comments section below and let me know your favorite best bet for week 15. Let's roll with our first pick versus the spread. And that first pick versus the spread is the Thursday night football game. Typically in this spot, I'm not going to lie, I would be on the home dog. An in-division NFC West showdown, I'd be on Seattle. But I just love how the San Francisco 49ers are playing, and I hate how the Seattle Seahawks are playing. And it's really not that complicated. These two teams played very early in the year. The Niners dominated, ran away with the game. And that was at a time where we were just discovering Geno Smith to be Geno Smith of 2022. The Niners were one of the only defenses early in the year to actually play well against the Seattle offense. I just don't expect Seattle to throw the ball all over the yard versus San Francisco. And I sure know that you cannot run the ball successfully versus San Francisco continuously. I don't see that happening. I don't see Seattle scoring more than 20 in this game. I think the Niners defense is that good. I think the way they play fast. I think they can pressure. I think they can blitz Geno. I think they can rush 4 and get pressure against Geno. I think they know how to play against the DK Metcalf. I understand that this is with the playoff life on the line for Seattle, that this is a big home game. This is a Pete Carroll who has had success against Kyle Shanahan. But the Niners know that. Like, Kyle knows that. Like, they beat them earlier this year. It would be great if they could sweep them this year. It would be phenomenal. And I look at this game, and I see a running game of Christian McCaffrey and the Niners that can easily steamroll the Seattle front seven that has not been able to stop the run recently. They have a massive weakness versus the run. We saw Foreman, Hubbard, the Panthers steamroll this unit last week. And very much like Carolina, a lot of play action, a lot of boots. Like, Kyle's going to run that stuff. And Purdy's been successful. Purdy just completes passes. Purdy's going to make plays with his legs. He's going to make the occasional deep ball down the field. Yeah, probably no Deebo Samuel here. Doesn't really matter to me. They're going to have a healthy dose of the running game. Christian McCaffrey. It's going to open up big plays for George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk down the field. And I just don't see the Seahawks matching. I think the Niners' ability to run the ball allows them to dictate the pace of the game and come out the winner here. Laying only 3, I think, is a good price on this Niners team, who I see as significantly better, 2 tiers above this Seahawks team that to me is more of a fringe playoff team. I view the Niners as a true contender, even with Purdy, and I don't think the market has truly priced in how effective this kid has been through his first 2 starts. So give me the Niners on Thursday night, -3 to take care of business. My second best bet versus the spread for week 15. Let's move to Saturday. We have the Indianapolis Colts getting 4 points versus the Vikings. I like the Colts +4 here. I don't care who the coach is. His name is Jeff Saturday, so he should perform better on a Saturday. Just saying. But the Colts getting 4 points versus a Vikings team that loves to play close games. You're getting more than a field goal with a pretty good Colts defense. A Colts defense that can stop the run. Dalvin Cook and the Vikings have not been able to run the ball, and they've been very stubborn with it, insisting that they must run the ball on early downs. I don't see that being successful versus Big DeForest Buckner and company. On top of that, the Colts have a pretty solid secondary led by Stephon Gilmore, who's been superb this year. He's a real true technician, and I think he'll come to play versus Justin Jefferson when they do see each other, when they do man up. And I do believe that the pressure that the Colts can cause with their front four can be good enough to cause a couple bad throws for Cousins and a couple punts from the Vikings. Because I look at the other side of the ball, and it doesn't really matter who you give me at this point on offense. They're going to move the ball. They're going to score points versus the Vikings. I think the Colts should be able to run the ball with Jonathan Taylor. I think the Colts should be able to dink and dunk their way down the field with Matt Ryan. And I look at a team like how New England moved the ball, and I could see Matt Ryan having very similar to success here like Mac Jones did on that Thanksgiving night. The Vikings have allowed 4 opponents in a row to go over 400 total yards of offense. The Colts have not been great on offense, but as we've seen in recent weeks, Matt Ryan can still accurately deliver the football as long as he is not constantly pressured, and I believe that run game will negate the ability to be put in 3rd and longs. I also feel that Matt Ryan will get the ball out quick versus a pretty susceptible secondary. I think Paris Campbell, Alec Pierce, and Michael Pittman all have decisive advantages on the perimeter. I think the Colts keep this one real close. The Vikings probably win by about a field goal, but 4 points is just too much in this spot. I think the Colts are a more talented team than they're given credit for, and I'm going to take them here plus the 4. My third best bet is also a game on Saturday. Most people are probably going to look to take the points with the Miami Dolphins. I like to lay the points with the Buffalo Bills at home in a revenge spot in bad weather. The Buffalo Bills will be at home hosting the Miami Dolphins, a team that is used to warm weather, that is not used to the cold, and a quarterback in Tua who is struggling, who gets in his own head early in games, and just often poops himself in these moments. This is another big moment, spotlight game, season on the line, playoffs on the line, division on the line. Buffalo Bills, they get up for these games. These primetime games, these games that everybody are watching them, especially at home, they crush opponents. I like how the Bills defense is playing. I think Sean McDermott and Leslie Frazier are very smart coaches. I think they'll look at the tape from the last 2 weeks, replicate something similar, as the Chargers did, as the Niners did. Buffalo has similar talent and similar zone abilities. And I feel they can clog the middle of the field, just as they do against Mac Jones and the Patriots, and take some of these money concepts from Tua away. On top of that, Jalen Waddle's been beat up, not the same player. Tyreek Hill is also injured entering this game. Defensively, Miami is completely overrated. And Josh Allen and the Bills will remember the last game where they struggled to score in the red zone. I think the Bills move the ball. I think Josh Allen's legs are a big part of this game if the weather gets ugly, which is expected to do, which will also favor the Bills because Josh Allen can throw through the wind, Tua cannot. I like the Bills here to win big by at least 10, so I'm going to lay the 7.5 on Saturday. My fourth best bet for week number 15. I'm going to take the Giants plus 4.5 versus the Commanders on the road. I absolutely got punished by the Giants last week. The Giants were my worst pick in weeks versus the spread. But that's not going to persuade me to take the Commanders here. I understand the Giants are a bit beat up. I do think they might get a couple players back in this spot. A huge game, really with their season on the line. This is a massive game with the NFC wild card in front of their face. They're staring at it. And if the Giants win this game, it's absolutely huge, absolutely crucial. So I think they're going to get as many players back in this game as they humanly possibly can. I also view this game as they just played a couple weeks ago. It was a tie, and I actually felt like the Giants were the better team in that game at home. Now you're giving me 4.5 points with Brian Daboll here, cooking up his second game plan versus Washington. I feel the Giants can score around 20 again against Washington, and I just don't see how I'm going to trust Taylor Heineken to score 25, 26 points. I feel like Washington, they love to run the ball. They love to milk the clock. They love to play into the fourth quarter. That's exactly the type of script that the Giants want. The Washington Commanders are not a super explosive, big play, quick score team. They're a grind it out, grind you out type of team. And the Giants, that's how they like to play. I think these two teams are familiar with each other. It's going to be chippy. It's probably not going to be the greatest weather out there in Washington. And Washington doesn't have the greatest home field as well. I think the Giants keep this one within a field goal. So, although the line kind of stinks at 4.5, I understand they might be trying to get me to bite on this. I'm still going to take it at 4.5. I think the Giants have everything to fight for here, and that's why this game will be close. My fifth best bet for week number 15. I had to do it. I wasn't going to. But after I've listened to a few different voices across the NFL landscape, I'm going to take the Patriots -1. And the reason is, everybody seems to be overrating the Raiders still, despite what we've seen recently from this team. I was pro Raiders all year. I'm pro Josh McDaniels much more than these other people. But I just don't understand how people think the Raiders are a more talented team than the New England Patriots. It's really not particularly close, especially when you look at the defensive side of the football here. New England is better at every level of their defense. New England probably has a better pass protecting unit of an offensive line. New England probably has more depth in terms of playmakers. And New England, I think people are overrating what they've gotten from Derek Carr and underrating what they're getting from Mac Jones recently. Derek Carr, every big moment of that game versus the Rams looked like he wasn't confident, looked like he wasn't composed, wasn't comfortable with what he was seeing or what he was doing. With Mac Jones, I got the sense that this guy has a will to win last week. And Derek Carr's never particularly been successful against Bill Belichick. Josh McDaniels, this Raiders organization, obviously knows the Patriots well, but the Patriots know the Raiders well as well. So I think that's a little bit overrated. But I do think that New England's ability with Matt Patricia on the offense, who I haven't been a fan of, especially recently, he actually knows the Raiders' defensive scheme better than just about anybody because that's the scheme that he used to teach in New England. This is a New England scheme defense. So I feel like he's going to have some answers and some things to mess with the rules of the Raiders defensively that could catch them off guard. I also think that when you look at the Raiders, they have very weak corners and very weak linebackers. I think the Patriots will have success throwing the ball in this game more than people think. And I like how Mac played against Arizona. I don't think the Raiders will be able to throw the ball in this game very effectively. Devontae Adams is awesome, but other than him, they don't have much to throw to. And they really can take away Adams with a double team, as Belichick will attempt to do, and force Carr to go elsewhere and make comfortable reads to Hollins and Moreau and Jacobs out of the backfield. I just don't think they can execute that effectively. New England's also one of these teams with a lot of big people and a lot of traditional defensive formations and linebackers and guys that can play this two-back offense of the Raiders and how they run it with the fullback in the game. And I don't think they're going to be shocked or surprised by that or get ran all over by Jacobs. I think Belichick's going to have a very good game plan going against his former offensive coordinator, Josh McDaniels. So I think with New England's season essentially on the line here, a must-win to get to the playoffs. I think New England goes to Las Vegas, staying on the West Coast as they just played Arizona, staying around that area, Arizona, Vegas, gaining a bond within this team and pulling out the victory. It might not be pretty, as New England has not been, which is another reason they're underrated, but I think New England wins this game minus the 1 point. I just think I'm going to fade everybody's narrative that the Raiders are somehow more talented than the Patriots. I don't get it. My sixth and final best bet for week number 15. I'm going to take the Packers -7. This is not going to be your most entertaining game of the week. It's not very interesting. But the Packers are laying 7 at home at Green Bay versus the Los Angeles Rams. A Rams team that's coming off a highly emotional, exciting, fun win against the Raiders, where the Raiders imploded and Baker Mayfield looked to be the hero. Now what happens? They play a Packers team coming off a bye, who I feel like recently has been cooking on offense a little bit more, running the ball, throwing to Christian Watson. I feel like Rodgers is comfortable with his receivers now at this point in the year with Lazard, Watson, Cobb. I feel like he has a good rhythm going, and I feel like Rodgers is playing well right now. I also like that they can move the ball in this game, and I like how Matt LaFleur has been able to defeat Sean McVay. He beat him twice in 2021, and I think the Packers have had answers for that defensive scheme. So I like the Packers at home in the cold, a West Coast team traveling on the road with their season over. No chance to make the playoffs. No chance to win the division. Rams, season over. Packers, the back door is still open for them to make the playoffs. There's still a reason to care. There's still a reason to fight. Rams, no reason at all. Both coaches familiar with each other, but Matt LaFleur's had the advantage. I also feel that the Rams in this spot, they're going to be cold. They're coming from the West Coast. They're not going to want to be playing out there. Like, just as human beings, they're going to be wanting to be somewhere else. It's close to Christmas. I just don't think mentally they're going to be in it. And I thought that was a huge win for them last week. It kind of took a lot of pressure off McVay and this team. I think Baker kind of comes back down to earth. Looks like Baker Mayfield, and the Packers win this game and actually kind of win it going away with Rodgers having a big performance, winning this game. So I'm going to go with the Packers to win and to cover minus the 7 in this spot. Those are my best bets for week number 15. If you enjoyed, don't forget to check out my Patreon, where I give you all of my bets that I put my real money on. It's also a way to support me. Link in the description, also in the pinned comment below. Check it out, guys. And also, don't forget to spike the like button and subscribe. It's Mitch. Thanks so much for watching. We will see you soon. Peace.